Hello, everyone. This is Ravity's blog of Animation Bliss, and welcome to another animated podcast series. So today's animated podcast is going to be on Sonic the Hedgehog SatAM, and with me today we have the Cartoon Guy. So, hello, Cartoon Guy.
Yes, hello, Radio's blog. It's really great to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you here too. It's great to have another fan of Sonic SatAM. So, I'm glad to have you here. So let's start with the questions you want to ask about Sonic SatAM. What are some questions you have about Sonic SatAM?
Yes. What is your favorite character from the show?
My favorite character from the show, I've always loved Sonic the Hedgehog. I like how he was being portrayed in the show, and like I liked his relationship with Sally and Bunny and the others, and I also like his relationship with Tails. Like I like the fact that they have like a brotherly type of relationship in this series, and I just felt like they did Sonic a lot of justice in the show because they developed his character. And I also like Sally because she's like the opposite of Sonic, but she cares about Sonic a lot, so I really like Sally herself as a character. So who are your favorite characters from Sonic the Hedgehog SatAM?
Well, my favorite character. Well, this is a tough one. I can't decide between Sonic or Bunny because they're both pretty awesome. Yeah, I like what you said about Sonic and his relationship with the other freedom fighters. But I like Bunny because cyborgs are cool,
Yeah.
and I think she's also the powerhouse of the group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like that part about Bunny.
I was like pretty much like a baby when the show came out. Only so because of YouTube nowadays and now reruns. If I was a kid back then.
Yeah.
And who is your least favorite character?
My least favorite character, I would have to say Snively. I never did care about his character. Like, I felt like he wasn't a very good villain, but I guess, and we'll discuss this further on. Like, I just couldn't see him as, a good villain compared to Dr. Robotnik, who was a great villain in the show, but I would have to say my least favorite character in the show was Snively. Who's your least favorite character?
Well, I have to say it has to be Tails because he does not do anything as
Oh,
long
yeah.
as I can remember. He's just there. I mean, he doesn't do anything at all. I mean, yeah, he's a kid and they don't want him getting hurt, but why is he here then?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's why I asked.
Like, I felt like, they could have done a
And
lot more with
here's
Tails.
my next question: have you heard of the comic SatAM season 3?
Um,
Have
I
you read it all?
I think I read parts of it online when it first came out. Like they had this old website from Sonic SatAM, and I used to read up on what the season 3 comic would have been about. But it's been so long since I read the comic, so I don't remember exactly what was going on in season 3. Or I all I know is that Snively is supposed to be the next villain, at least until Nagus or Dr. Robotnik comes back. But that was all I remember from the season 3 comic. Have you seen the season 3 comic before?
I really wish in the actual show we had a season 3.
Yeah.
I heard Knuckles would appear in season 3, but that's just a rumor.
Oh yeah.
As Ix's Knuckles, I barely remember him. I mean, was he the guy with the crab hair and the horn?
Yeah, like I
I
think
think he
he
was also like a wizard.
yeah. Like I think he appeared in the episode The Void or something like that, and Dr. Robotnik locked him in the void or something like that. Like I'm not sure about his character exactly, but he was in the show at one episode, but I can't remember exactly what his purpose in the show was.
Yeah, I wish he had more time on the show. I mean, he looks like he could be the next villain. But Snively at the end of the season, at the second season, I don't buy it that he'll be a good villain at all.
Me either. Like I felt like he's not gonna be as menacing as Dr. Robotnik, and they just wanted to put him as a villain just to see where he go, but I bet you he's not gonna last that much longer if he became the big bad or anything like that. Like I feel like they're not gonna do a lot with his character if he became the big bad.
Yeah, Snively is definitely the weak villain of the series.
Yeah. Like I felt like yeah, there's not much they could do with his character at this point, but um Yeah, I guess I'd be interested to see what they could have done with Sniffly if season three had been made. So, what's your next question?
Did you know the show takes place in the 33rd century? Can't wait
33rd.
for that to happen.
Oh, I didn't
The
notice
33rd
that.
century.
Huh. I heard that the show took place in 3000, the year 3000 or something like that, but that's a pretty interesting premise that the show took place in the future, and I would have loved it if they expanded more on the show's backstory about it taking place in the near future, and whether or not Dr. Robotnik and Snively are like the only humans left alive on that planet. So that would have been pretty interesting to see where they could have gone with that.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I mean, it was mentioned in one episode, which I can't recall. Sorry, but I can't wait for it to happen. Walking animals, walking animals in the 33rd century. I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, that would be really great to see. Like, I wish they expanded more on that, and it's just an interesting premise about having animals that could run the planet instead of humans. So I would have loved to see where that would have gone.
Um, Now for the next question: have you read the Archie comics?
Yeah, I actually read the Archie Sonic the Hedgehog comics before. I only read like the first maybe 50 issues so far. I haven't read the current issues yet, but I heard a lot of stuff was going on in the current Archie comics, especially the copyright violations that was going on. But I've only read like the first 50 issues, like all the way up to Endgame. I love reading Endgame, and I wish if Sonic SatAM actually went on, I hope they made an episode about Endgame down the line sometime.
I barely read the comics at all. I don't because I'm not sure if it takes the same continuity as the actual TV show. Like, is the storyline connected or not? Because I wasn't really sure of that as a kid. But I do read the comics rarely to catch up on the story. Like nowadays, it has to do with Metal Sonic and Breezy from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, which she's my favorite villain character for now, anyway. And Fiona Fox, who was a robot, then returned as her regular self. What I mean by that, she wasn't a robot, and she was 16. And Tails had a crush on her, and well, I'm getting off sidetracked here. The comics can be really stupid sometimes.
Yeah, I think the earlier issues were kind of silly, like compared to the later issues. I think the later issues got a little more serious, like in tone with the actual TV series. But the earlier seasons was more like in line with the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. So I didn't really read much of the earlier issues that much, but I did read like the more serious issues that led up to Endgame, and that was as far as I got with the comics.
So, what do you think of Dr. Robotnik? I was about to say Dr. Eggman. Dr. Robotnik as a villain.
I thought he was a great villain in the show. Like he was a lot more threatening in the show than we normally see him in the video games, and especially the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like I think he was a really big threat to Sonic, and the fact that he has a more scary voice. He's voiced by Jim Cummings. It really made his character more effective in the show, and I like the fact that he's actually a bigger threat than he was in the and in the previous games, and the fact that he actually roboticizes people, that was pretty creepy. And but I found him to be a great villain in the show, and I wish we could see more of him.
Have you seen like one of the episodes where his eyes actually glow? I mean, that actually kind of scared me once as a kid. And that's how you know your villain is threatening.
Oh yeah, I think I saw a couple episodes where his
Oh,
eyes glowed. Did you see the episode where he was showing Snively the color of his heart or something like that? Like he was like, Snively, what color is my heart? And he showed him his mouth or something like that.
uh, I haven't seen that episode recently, so I can't really recall it.
Yeah, that was like the episode a lot of people creeped out about, and that just shows how creepy Dr. Robotnik was in this show. So, I thought that was very well done for that episode, even though it was pretty creepy.
Now, if there was one character that you wanted to appear from the second games, who would you want it to be?
I definitely want to see Knuckles
It's
the
not in the show already, anyway.
I definitely would like to see Knuckles the Echidna. Like Knuckles the Echidna is like one of my most favorite Sonic the Hedgehog characters, and I would love to see what they would have done with this character in the show and how they would have connected the Chaos Emeralds with Sonic's with the this universe of Sonic the Hedgehog. So I definitely would have loved to see Knuckles the Echidna make an appearance in the show because he did make an appearance in Sonic Underground, but I would have loved to see him appear in Sonic SatAM. I think he would have had a better story in Sonic SatAM if they had created another season and he was featuring it.
Now, Knuckles did appear in Sonic Underground, and I forgot who was voiced by. But as a cast who was being in Sonic SatAM, I wouldn't like that. It's because, well, they're plot MacGuffins. It'll make things much easier for the freedom fighters.
Oh yeah, especially with the Chaos Emeralds being introduced, that could have like make things a little too easy. But maybe if they had some kind of rivalry between him and Sonic, that would have been pretty interesting to see. Or maybe his relationship with Sally, or however way they want to go by it, that would have been pretty interesting to see. As long as they don't focus too heavily on the Chaos Emeralds, which is what I'm worried about if they introduce Knuckles into the show, is they focus too heavily on the Chaos Emeralds.
What was your favorite episode?
Let's see. I always liked I like the Blast to the Past episode, the one where Sonic and Sally have to go back in the past to try to stop Dr. Robotnik from taking over Knothole, or taking over the city and throwing King Acorn into the void. Because I thought, it was a great way to see, this how Robotnik took over Mobius in the first place, and just to see Sonic and Sally and the Freedom Fighters as little kids again, and see how they became Freedom Fighters in the first place. That was a pretty interesting episode. And another episode I like was the Odd Couple. This was the episode where Sonic and has to stay with Antron after his hut gets destroyed, and he drives Antron crazy with his his messy lifestyle. So I thought the episode was pretty funny.
Yeah, your little slice of life episode. I like those in some shows, but I really love action shows and these kind of shows too. My favorite episode is, well, like you say, a blast to the past. And there was this one episode where there's this evil Sally that were messing with the freedom fighters. I can't remember the exact name of the episode either.
I think it was called
But I remember they saved Sally at the end and they destroyed the clone.
I think that episode was
Do you
called.
remember that episode?
Yeah, I think that episode was called Sonic and Sally, and I used to watch it a lot when I was little. And you remember when they did the funny kiss in that episode? I thought that was pretty cute and memorable from the episode.
Yeah, that was adorable.
Yeah.
What would have to be your least favorite episode?
My least favorite episode. I'm trying to remember if there was an episode I didn't care for that much, but I guess Rebecca. That was the episode where Antron meets up with this robot who falls in love with him. Like, I didn't care much for that episode. And I didn't really care much for Ghostbusted either, because nothing really happened in those episodes. So those are probably my least favorite episodes of Rebecca, something like that, and Ghostbusted.
My least favorite episode has to be the last episode. Here's why. Because it ended the series. That's the only reason why. Because it ended the series. I still wish there was a season 3.
Yeah, I didn't like how the Doomsday Project
Uh,
ended. I mean, I was like expected to see more, and then they're like, "Oh, the show got canceled. You never know who those eyes really belong to, or what happens to the Freedom Fighters at this point." So I was really upset about that. So, I mean, I thought the Doomsday Project was a pretty good episode, but again, it's like, you want more to happen, and a lot of things didn't really happen. So that was really upsetting for me.
um, did you really wish the video game came out? And if you did, would you play it?
I'm kind of on the fence about the video game. Like, I wasn't sure if they actually made the video game. I wasn't sure where they were going to go with it. Like, if that was their way to make season 3 or whatever. But I guess if the video game had came out at the time, I probably would have tried to play it. You know, I played a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog games when I was little, so this game wouldn't be no different. But I would have been interested to see. I would have been pretty interested to see, you know, how this game would have gone, if it would be anything like any Sonic the Hedgehog show you've seen. So, yeah, I'm pretty interested if they had made that video game and just to see where it goes.
You know, the cast of SatAM did appear in one Sonic game, and that was Sonic Pinball of all games. And I wish they made cameos in other games, but that was just the one. And I think it was just Bunny and Sally. That was just it.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I was like, they just showed up
Uh,
briefly. I was like, oh, they didn't even have, they didn't even talk in there or anything. Well, you know, the Sonic games at the time, Sonic didn't talk, but still, you know, they didn't really do anything, and I was disappointed by that. But I would have loved to see,
yeah, but
I would have loved to see the Free Fires do something in the Sonic games.
it was a nice cameo anyway.
Yeah, I did like the
Now let's
cameo.
discuss characters.
Okay.
What do you think about Sonic?
I thought Sonic was
Like,
pretty well portrayed here. Like he actually gets a better backstory in this series. You know, he has an Uncle Chuck who got roboticized. He becomes a freedom fighter at a young age, and again, I like his relationship with all of the freedom fighters, and you know, I would have loved to see them like develop his character a little more in season 3 if that ever came out. But I thought he was done very well. I really liked his character in the show, and I wish we saw more of this Sonic in the video games.
Sonic, myself, let's just go off with a negative. I hate his voice. I
Oh,
do not like Little White's voice for Sonic.
to
I mean, now as a kid, I bear it. I mean, I was fine with the voice as a kid, but nowadays I hate it. I hate it so much. It's probably because I didn't watch Family Matters, but that can't be it. And I love Sonic's relationship with the group, and I really wish we saw Sonic's parents. I really wish, because we see them in the comics, but not here.
Well, that would have been really interesting if they show us his parents. Like, um, yeah, they showed us his uncle, but I would have loved to see his parents and see what they were like. Maybe they got roboticized too. You know, that would have been pretty interesting to see if they actually show us his parents, because we saw the other freedom fighters' parents. Well, just Sally's actually, but you know, I would have loved to see the other freedom fighters' parents too, but. Definitely Sonic's, because I feel like there's a story there they could have told, and fortunately, we didn't get a chance to see all that unfold.
Wait, didn't they show Tails' parents too?
Oh, they
Oh
did?
wait, no, I'm thinking of the comic. Sorry.
Okay. Because I was thinking, I don't remember seeing Tails' parents in there, but only Sally's dad. But that was the only parent we saw on the show.
Here's the other thing about about Sonic. I'm surprised he's not the leader because it seemed like he would be.
Like I wasn't sure like why they made Sally the leader in this universe instead of Sonic. Like I thought, you know, because the show's called Sonic the Hedgehog, he would have been the leader. It would have been maybe season 3 would have had him as the leader of the Freedom Fighters, but who knows why he wasn't the leader in this universe. But it was pretty interesting that Sally's the leader and not Sonic.
Yeah. If even though he's not leader, I think he might be second in command, right? I mean, he does make choices too.
Yeah, think he helps Sally out with a lot of the decisions going on, and he does save the day most of the time. But yeah, he's pretty much Sally's second in command in this series.
Now let's talk about Sally. What do you think of her?
I thought she was a pretty decent character. Like, I like the fact that she is a leader of the Freedom Fighters, but at the same time, I felt like they could have developed a character a little more. Like, all we know about her character is that her father, King Acorn, was thrown to the void. She's trying to find him, but and she has a relationship with Sonic, and you know, she's a little more mature than Sonic. But I would have loved to see them do more with Sally's character in this series. Honestly.
Now I like Sally because when I hear she's a princess, I think of Disney, and she's not your typical princess at all. and that's why I love her for that. She's a competent leader, and she knows how to take charge.
Yeah, I like the fact that they didn't stereotype her as a princess. Like I like the fact that she's a strong female character who is willing to do whatever it takes to save the freedom fighters. So that's what I really liked about her character and the fact that she knows she uses her brains to get out of situations. So that was really great that they gave us a strong female protagonist in the series and in the form of Sally.
Now, with her relationship with Sonic, I was confused about this as a kid. I mean, it's not like I was known about romance because I knew about romance, but it seems like in some episodes, Sally and Sonic would just kiss for no reason. And I was confused by this because were they a couple or not? And they didn't become a couple till the last episode, and that's why.
Yeah, that's true. Like, it seems like what's one episode they're fighting each other, another episode they're kissing, and you're not really sure what the relationship really is. Even in the first season, Sally was like telling Sonic, "I'm not your girl," or something like that, and I was thinking to myself, okay, is Sonic and Sally dating each other, or that Sonic just seems to have a crush on Sally and Sally doesn't notice? Like, I was confused there too.
I remember this one scene in the show where Sonic says, "You make my heart pound, my mouth water. There's nothing like a chili dog." And so it was like, oh my goodness.
Oh, you
I
remember?
love that scene.
I remember the scene where he was reciting this poem, and he was like, it was like about his speed or something like that, and he's like, and ain't that sweet to Sally or something like that, and I was like, oh, that kind of poem. He's like talking about himself towards Sally, and yet it's supposed to be a love poem. I thought it was cute and funny at the same time.
Now, what did you think of Antoine at first?
um, I will admit, Antoine's not my favorite character. I mean, yeah, I did find him funny at certain parts, but then other parts I find him annoying because he's like a coward or something like that, and he's always complaining about everything that's going on, and I did find him annoying a bit. There were times where I did find him funny, but most of the time I found him as an annoying character. But it kind of changed in the comics, But I would have liked to see him develop as a character if there was a season 3, but I did find him annoying for the most part.
In the comics, fun fact, in the comics, in the earlier issues, it's been known that he's been wearing a wig because of Sonic and his pranks. And I thought that was kind of funny.
Really?
And also in the comics, he has gotten brave because of a war that apparently happened.
Oh, okay.
And I like that.
Yeah, that's really funny. I didn't know
And
that.
also, he married Bunny, which was awesome.
Oh yeah. I would have loved to see the two of them hook up in the TV series if that were possible. Although it looked like Bunny and Rhoda were hooking up, but who knows? I would have liked to see Bunny and Antoine hook up in the TV series if that was possible.
Now, what do you think about Rotor? Because I almost forgot about him when you said his name.
Oh yeah. Roder, I think he's an okay character, but I think he doesn't really do a lot in the show, especially in the second season. Like he did a bit in the first season, but by the second season you don't see him a lot and he doesn't seem to do anything. And I like the fact that there is a mechanic in the group, but I felt like they didn't give his character a lot of dimensions or anything like that. So I felt like with Rotor, they could have made him a better character, more have more personality like the other characters. But that's how I feel about Rotor. Like I like the fact there's a mechanic in the
You see,
show, but they could have expanded more on him a bit more.
okay, you see, I would like Rotor if he wasn't so forgettable. I mean, yeah, he's a mechanic in the Smartha group, which I kind of wish that belonged to Tails, since that's what he's known for in the game, so why not in the show?
Yeah.
But there's nothing about Rotor that interests me. He's just so forgettable. I'm not saying I hate the character, but I just wish we had something more to do with him. Speaking of Tails, what do you think about him?
This was very disappointing to me. Like, I love Tails as a character, but in the games anyway. But I felt like in the show they didn't do a lot with him because, like you said, they want to keep him safe for most of the missions. But in doing that, they never really expanded on his character. And I would have loved to see Tails, be able to fly an airplane with Sonic in it, like he did a lot in the games. I would have loved to see Tails go on more missions with Sonic. So I feel like with this show, we missed that brotherly relationship that he shares with Sonic in the games because they had to keep him back all the time just because he's young. But I wish they gave Tails a lot more to do, and I just felt like he was just there because, well, he's Tails and he's a part of the Sonic franchise, so we had to have a Tails in the Sonic the Hedgehog TV series, even though he's got nothing to do.
Now, with Tails, with me, by the way, I feel like he'll just be in the way if he just go on missions because what he's supposed to do. I mean, I suppose he knows how to destroy SWAT bots, but I don't think there's one episode where he did that. And as I recall from the comics, him and Sonic were friends when he was a baby. Like right after when he was born, they became friends. And I like that. It was an adorable scene in the comics, and I loved it.
Yeah, like I felt like they could have expanded more on their friendship a bit in
I,
the.
I just wish Tails had more time on in the show because I like Tails. I do. I just wish we had something to do with him. I mean, in the next show, Sonic Underground, he's not there at all.
Yeah, which is weird because like I mentioned, it's kind of weird to have a Sonic the Hedgehog show without Tails, and Sonic Underground was like the first show that didn't feature Tails at all. So I was kind of surprised that they didn't feature Tails, but then again, I think Sonic Underground was an alternate universe for Sonic the Hedgehog, so I guess Tails wouldn't make the cut in that series.
Yeah, and Sonic Underground, I like the idea that Sonic has siblings, but not as royalty.
Yeah, that's the part that really gets me is that why do they make Sonic a prince in that series when he's not that type of character who's royal or anything like that. So that was something that threw me off a bit. He doesn't even act like a prince in that series to begin with, so why make him one?
Now, for the next character, what do you think about Snively?
Um
Even
like I
though we kind
mentioned
of said some,
oh, like I mentioned, he's my least favorite character, and I think they could have done a lot more with his character or something. Like I just felt like he's just there to be pushed around by Doctor Robotnik. And maybe season 3 would have seen him do a lot more than just become Robotnik's lackey. But for the whole time, I just found Snively to be a useless character in the series, and I wish they would have done more with his character in the show.
yeah, Snively didn't do much, if I can recall. I mean, he's just Robotic's lackey plus nephew. I mean, he's just there for the most part. Just give Robotnik a sidekick. I was about to call him Eggman again because it's a habit.
Yeah.
What do you think of Bunny?
Oh, I
What do you think of Bunny?
I really like Bunny. Like, I'm glad we got another strong female character in the show, and I think she's a great friend to Sally. And the fact that she's like the team's powerhouse, and she's also like one of the nicest characters in the show. I really like that dynamic that she brings to the show, like trying to cheer everybody up and stuff like that. So I really think Bunny was a great addition to the show, and I really liked her character.
Yeah, I love Bunny, and I love her backstory, how she got her robot extensions. She's really awesome that way,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
I love how she's the powerhouse of the group.
Yeah.
Because usually, like if someone's a powerhouse in a superhero team, it always has to be the guy. Which in this case, I like that as a girl this time.
Yeah, I like that too. I thought it was a really interesting twist on it, and I think it still brought so much energy to the series with having Bunny as the powerhouse of the group instead of having like either Rotor or another male
Also,
character to be a powerhouse.
also in the comics, she had an arm cannon, which will make things easier.
Oh
If she had
yeah.
an arm cannon in the show, what do you think of Robotnik? I loved him as a villain, but I wonder what happened if he roboticized himself.
Oh, that would have been pretty interesting. Like,
Because would that make him more?
made him more what?
Because Robotnik, he's an awesome villain, and I wish he kept that image in other sorts of media. Because if he roboticized himself, that would make him awesome and more threatening because he's a robot.
Oh yeah, I would have loved to see that, like him roboticizing
And I,
himself, and then having all these weapons on him. That would have been pretty interesting, and he would have I don't know if the show would have let him like kill people or anything like that. I don't think that would have happened, but it would have been interesting to see him be more dangerous to Sonic and the Freedom Fighters if he was fully roboticized.
I think he did have a robotic arm, didn't he?
Yeah, he got his arm roboticized, and he's able to use an arm cannon for his arm. But that's all we see of Robotnik as far as him being roboticized goes.
If he was fully roboticized, I would probably get a Power Rangers vibe because there's one villain that's fully robotic, and that's Vinjix. And he is the deadliest villain of that series because he annihilated a bunch of nations and a bunch of cities and basically roboticized people. And I would love to see Eggman as a real threat like that.
Oh yeah,
I wonder how come he didn't fight Knothole. I mean, it shouldn't really be that hard.
I think he was close a couple times in some episodes in finding Knothole, but yeah, I agreed that he should have found it by now, especially if he's got a tracker or something that would attract the Freedom Fighters. Like, why not put a tracker on the Freedom Fighters every time he meets up with them so he could follow them to the village? That was something that I never understand about Robotnik, is that he's got all these gadgets. He could have used them to track Knothole easily if he wanted to.
Yeah, so much for that. I can give you 300, huh, Robotnik?
Yeah.
Uh, oh, here's one more character I completely forgot about because she's more forgettable than Rotor. And I think her name was Darcy the Dragon.
Oh,
Remember her?
yeah. Dosey the dragon?
She actually did much in the show because I think she only did like take the group to another place, and that's just it. She didn't really do anything besides that.
Yeah, I agree. Dosey's one of those characters I kind of forget about a lot. Like, cause she was introduced in the second season, but she didn't like yeah, if you didn't know, if you like didn't see her superpowers, like doing ice powers and stuff like that, you wouldn't notice she was even in the show. Like, I feel like they could have done more with her character, like develop more her relationship with the other characters or something like that, instead of just being introduced in season two as just another magical creature to be added to the group. But yeah, I felt like Dosey could have been a better character if they have done more with her in the second season.
Um, Also, we can't forget about Uncle Chuck.
Oh yeah.
Cause my God, cause my God, that scene from that one episode was so heart wrenching. I just wanted to cry.
Oh, the episode where Uncle Chuck did turn it back to his normal self,
Yeah,
but then he ends up being roboticized again.
yeah, that was so sad. It's too bad that Sonic couldn't save his uncle, the only part of his family left.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there, he had a chance to actually bring his uncle back to his normal self, but then suddenly he gets roboticized, and I found that to be so sad because Sonic's been trying to get his Uncle Chuck back for a long time, and he finally found a possible cure for him, but it ends up not curing him after all. So it's really sad to see him split up again, and I would have loved to see Uncle Chuck and Sonic reunite with each other in season three if they found a way to like turn it back to normal in season three.
Here's a question I have about people who are dictators in the world. Why is it always they rule over a dark, desolate land? It appears they don't want a beautiful place to rule over. I mean, I know he's evil, but jeez.
Yeah, that's true. It's like the moment he took over Mobius and stuff like that, it's just the city became dark and polluted. And I guess they just wanted to show how evil Dr. Robotnik is, and dictators in general, to show, that the city can be like full of destruction and stuff like that, just to show how much they really hurt the people and stuff like that. And I think that's what's going on with Sonic the Hedgehog, is that, because Dr. Robotnik was turning the people of Mobius into robots. It shows how dark the world's become ever since he took over.
Oh yes, and also I guess she's a character, Nicole.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot
We
about
can't forget
Nicole.
about Nicole.
Yeah. Um, I found it to be pretty interesting. Like, I like the fact that Sally has a handheld computer that's able to tell her everything that goes on in the world. And uh, in the comics, I think they made Nicole human or something like that, or come to life. I'm not sure if that's what happened in the comics, but that's what I've heard. But it would have been pretty interesting if they had a storyline where they made Nicole into an animal character, or transform her into an animal character. It would be interesting to see her interactions with the other freedom fighters if that would happen.
Yeah, in the comics, I love that she has a personality, and I also love she has a body. She took a form of a lynx, Nicole the lynx, and she's based off a scientist's daughter who was named Nikki, who died at a very young age.
Oh, okay. That would have been pretty interesting to put into the
Yeah,
show.
and the scientist hated Nicole because he really wanted her daughter back. If I can remember from that issue, like a long time ago.
Hmm. That's pretty interesting. Like, I would have loved
Oh,
to see where that goes.
yeah, because if that actually happened in the show, I feel like that would be pretty dark and sad.
Oh yeah, like it would make the show even darker if they have that backstory about Nicole. Um, I am interested to see if they did make a season three. How dark they would have made the show, if it would have gone darker, if it would have gone lighter. It would have been interesting to see where they would have gone with that.
If there was a season three, how would you think it would go?
I think for one thing, like they're probably try to focus more on Sonic's relationship with Tails. I think they'll probably try to make give Tails a bigger role in the third season, because I did hear in the third season comic that they were planning on making Tails into a bigger character in the season three, and I would have loved to see his relationship with Sonic unfold in season three. And then I would have liked to see how if Nagus becomes the next big bad of the show. I think I heard rumors about that too, that he might have been the next big bad, or Robotnik might have come back. I can't remember, but I think Nagus was supposed to be the big bad of season three. And then I would have loved to see Knuckles appear, and if the rumors about him supposed to appear in the show were true, those were some things I would have loved to see in season three. And looking at that, it might have been darker. Well, I'm not sure if season three would have been darker or lighter than the first two seasons, but I think the tone would have probably been in the middle. Like, it would have been light in some episodes and dark in some episodes. So I would have loved to see all that unfold in season three if they had made it.
Yeah, I agree with you. But in the beginning of the season, I feel like the Freedom Fighters will celebrate and have a huge party that celebrates Dr. Eggman's defeat. Dr. Eggman, Dr. Robotnik, I'm sorry. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Then Sniffly finds Nuthole and destroys it, which leaves no Freedom Fighters with no home at all. Which will give the season a big, awesome episode.
I would have loved to see Snively destroy Nodho, just to see, how would the Freedom Fighters react to all that? How would they find a new home? That would have been pretty interesting to see.
Also, since Ignis Noctis would have been there, I think it'd also be harder because he also has magic, I think. Isn't that right?
Oh yeah, I think he created the void, and he probably will use the void to capture the Freedom Fighters or something like that. So that would have been interesting to see how Ickis Nagas would have threatened the Freedom Fighters using his magic.
Yeah, because if science and magic can work together, I feel like that would be very powerful to defeat because, well, it's hard to defeat magic in science. or techno magic if they ever combined it.
Yeah, I agree. That would have been pretty interesting to see.
And that would probably make Snively a more threatening villain.
Yeah, especially if he destroyed Naho, like the Freedom Fighters' home for so many years, and it would be interesting to see how the Freedom Fighters would have reacted to Snively once they see him again, or how they would view Snively after he destroyed their home that they lived at for so many years. So I would have loved to see how that would have unfolded.
Also, I would love to see Metal Sonic.
Oh yeah. That'd be great. Like I'd love to see what they could do with Metal Sonic. Would Sonic be framed for Metal Sonic's crimes and stuff like that, or just have a villain who has the same abilities as Sonic and about the same person has about the same personality but is a lot more evil. And see him go toe to toe with Sonic. That would have been pretty interesting to see.
If there was a character that died, who do you think it would be?
This would be a tough one, but I guess if there was a character who was going to die, I think it'd probably be Antoine. That's my personal opinion. Like maybe it's because he actually sacrifices his own life in a heroic way or something like that, and that's what makes his death more tragic because he's actually a hero this time, and then he gets killed, sacrificing himself or whatever the plot demands. So it'd be interesting to see if Antoine actually dies in this series or not. But that's the character I'm looking at who might die in this series.
Yeah, I agree with you because that would have been awesome. I mean, not to say I hate Antoine, but because since he's been such a coward throughout the show, it would have been such a good episode if he sacrificed himself and showed his courage. I'm
Yeah.
about to say cowardice. Also, would also be tragic. Would be a would it be a child death, like if Tails died or something because he got in the way.
Oh, yeah. That would be interesting to see what happens if they actually kill off Tails for the first time in the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. I think that would make like headways, all the Sonic fandoms and stuff like that if Tails got killed in the series. So, be interesting to see how this would affect Sonic and the Free Definers as a whole. So, I think they really need to develop Sonic and Tails' relationship first for it to be more impactful. But if Tails got killed off, it would be pretty interesting to see how Sonic would have taken it. And if Aegis Nagus or Dr. Robotnik killed him, that would make things even harder. Maybe we get to see Sonic actually go all out angry on Dr. Robotnik, whoever kills Tails. That would be pretty interesting to see.
If they if they did kill off Tails, I feel like Sonic would be depressed because Tails was his best friend since childhood. Well, ever since Tails was a baby, anyway. Well, that's what I got from comics, anyway. And I don't know what will happen after that because it's kind of hard to think about.
Yeah, like we're not sure what direction they would take the
Uh,
show if that happened.
what do you think of the swap bots?
Oh, with swap bots? I thought they were pretty
Yes.
interesting.
What do you think of them?
I thought they were okay. Like maybe to make them more interesting, Doctor Robotnik could power them up, like make them into like super weapons or something like that. Like make them bigger and make them like actually chase the freedom fighters like in almost every episode. I think that would make him into a bigger threat than just following Doctor Robotnik's orders. You actually have lackeys to Robotnik who would be actually threatening, and maybe they actually destroy the Free to Fighter village if they got upgraded. So it'd be pretty interesting to see what they're gonna do with the swap bots if they upgraded them in next few seasons.
I think the swap bots are okay. They're not that threatening, but the Freedom Fighters can take them any day.
Yeah, I feel the same way too.
Uh, if there was another villain that you want to introduce, who would it be from the games?
Besides Metal Sonic, or yeah, besides Mecha Sonic, um, this be a toughie. I guess introduce the Enerjack from the legions from the Knuckles comics. Maybe introduce them into the series if they make it. If they introduce Knuckles, maybe introduce the legions.
Oh,
That would
I
be
know what
pretty
you're
interesting.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have liked to see how they would be a threat to the Freedom Fighters and Knuckles as a whole. So that would be pretty interesting to see them make an appearance in this TV series.
Now, the villain I want to appear, I will have to say Mephiles from Sonic 06, because he is a demonic force to be reckoned with. I mean, yes, that game was terrible, but he killed Sonic in that game, which makes him a formidable foe to tangle with. Now, I'm not sure how he'll. I'm not sure how he will appear in the show, but I would love to see Mephiles in there.
Oh yeah, Mephiles is really interesting. Like you actually have a character who's really threatening, and actually kills Sonic, like you said. That'd be pretty interesting if he actually kills Sonic in the show. So, or maybe he's the one who kills Tails or Antoine. So that would have been made things even more interesting. He did all that.
Yeah, because Mephiles is the actual demon.
Yeah, that would make the show pretty dark if he did come in there. I also like to see Shadow the Hedgehog make an appearance. Like it'd be interesting to see what they could do with him if he appeared in the show.
I'm not sure what they would do with him if they appear in the show. I mean, there's probably give him another backstory, but who knows? Maybe Shadow will be like this lone freedom fighter who survived somehow.
Yeah, yeah, that could happen. Like he could be like the evil twin, the Sonic the Hedgehog, or something like that, and he came from another freedom fighter group, and they his freedom fighter group got all roboticized, and he wants to swear vengeance on whoever roboticized them. So that'd be pretty interesting. The story to tell in this series.
How would you feel about more character development in the show?
Oh, I definitely would love to see more character development. Like I mentioned before, it felt like they could have developed Tails and Rotor and Dulcie a little more in the show. So if season 3 ever came out, I would love them to develop Tails' character a little more, and I would have loved to see Dulcie get more to do. I would have loved to see Rotor get more to do, besides just being background characters for the most part. But I think if they're gonna develop these characters, have them be more involved in missions, have them have stronger relationships with the other characters, with the main characters like Sonic and Sally, and maybe put them in more dire situations just to see how they will react in these situations and stuff like that.
Now, here's this one thing I want to know about. How did Sonic get his super speed? And I feel like SatAM would be the appropriate show to do that.
Yeah, I think I read this book that explained that Sonic has always been born that way or something like that. And maybe they explain how he got shoes. Uncle Chuck made the shoes for him. I can't remember what happened in the book, but they did kind of explain how Sonic got his speed and how he was living with his Uncle Chuck and Dr. Robotnik in the same universe. So it would be interesting to see them explain how Sonic got his speed or whether or not he was born with that speed. So I would have loved to see them expand on that storyline a little more in the TV show. So my first question is, what was your reaction to having a Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon that was dark and serious?
Well, I loved it, but it's not something that you expect out of this. I mean, it's like putting Looney Tunes in Terminator. It's just something that wouldn't work, but it does, and I loved it that way. And like, it's weird because it's like putting Looney Tunes in Terminator, and it looked like it wouldn't work that way, but it does, and I love it.
Yeah, I
Or
feel
probably because it's my love for Sonic, or probably because I have my love for Sonic, because I loved Sonic as a kid, and my first game was either Sonic 3 and Knuckles or Sonic 2. I can't really remember.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I was thinking at first, there's no way they could do a serious story with Sonic the Hedgehog, even though the games could be serious depending on how you look at it. But this was one of those series they did a great job with. Like, I think they really developed the characters very well. I love the universe they put Sonic in. I just thought it was really interesting about how they did this universe and how even if Sonic was being darker, edgier, he's still able to work that way as long as there's good storytelling being told. My next question is, do you think they should have kept the game storylines in this series?
Well, I had a problem with the game storylines coming in the comic because it always says different different from what you know from the Sega games. Because that's what it always says in each issue. I always had a problem with that. And probably because I wanted to keep the two continuities different from each other because I want to see what they do on their own. I mean, I didn't mind the comic had cast remotes, but it sort of bothered me that we had some plot elements from the games.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I looked at the series as just being a separate continuity, and I liked it that way. So I like to see what kind of stories they could have tell with Sonic the Hedgehog, without relying on the game so much. So I like the fact that we had a Sonic the Hedgehog TV series that was like its own thing. Like, it wasn't trying to be like the games; it was just being its own thing and still work. So that's how I felt about the fact that there's no video game storylines in the series and somehow works in my opinion because again we're looking at a Sonic the Hedgehog TV series that was separate from the games that it was based off of. Um so my next question is, have you read any fan fiction from the series?
Yes, actually, it was about how Amy appears, and it was about Amy went to this portal, and she came into the SatAM universe, and how she interacted with each character,
Oh, that sounds pretty interesting.
and then she and then she slowly had a crush on this Sonic, and wanted to date him, but it didn't go anywhere. And but she tried to keep it a secret for some reason. Probably because she wanted to start over with this Sonic instead of her Sonic.
Okay, that sounds pretty interesting.
Also, she explains about her world in Eggman about to Sally, and how Sally says, "Eggman, this doesn't sound really threatening. It's not. It's not at all." And she never really explains how Eggman's not really is a nickname.
Huh. So, that sounds really interesting.
I can't remember what the story is called, but I'm sure I could find it somewhere.
Oh, okay, I like to read it sometime.
Maybe I'll send you a link if I.
Okay. Yeah, I like to check that out sometime. Some Sonic the Hedgehog fan fictions I've read were from Robert Brown and Francis Tolbert, and they wrote some Sonic the Hedgehog fan fictions that took place after the original TV series ended, and we have stories where Sonic and Sally are the king and queen of Mobius, and they overthrow Robotnik, and they all have kids that have similar powers to them. I found those stories really interesting, and I could provide the link in the bottom somewhere where to find these stories. They're really great. I love reading them because they're just fantastic stories, and I think if there was a third season made of Sonic SatAM, they should definitely follow these storylines from the fan fictions. They're just that fantastic. My final question is: do you think the series should get a revamp?
I don't know because I'm not sure TV shows ever did that. Wait, no, they do. Yeah. Well, not any cartoon shows I know that did that anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But it'll be really interesting to see. It'll be really interesting to see a remake because I want to see how they will look like in modern age.
Oh yeah. I'd definitely be interested to see if they did make a remake of the show. Like maybe stay to the same backstory history of the show, but introduce modern Sonic into all this or something like that. That would be pretty interesting to see. Like how would modern Sonic fit into this world versus classic Sonic fitting into this world. So what things they would change and they make the remake, or would they change the backstories? That would be pretty interesting to see if they made a remake of the show.
Yeah, because kid shows nowadays have gotten a lot smarter. I mean, they have. Look at some shows like Adventure Time and Steven Universe. Those are good shows.
Yeah, like it's not about like gross out humor anymore or anything like that. I mean, you still have shows out there that are like that, but they are starting to like delve more to backstories of the characters, and I like that. So maybe we can
And some
have. maybe the remake of Sonic the Hedgehog could be somewhat similar, but not too action driven or anything like that. But I like to see how that would come out.
As if Sonic had a modern look, I don't know because I think in the SatAM he had his classic look, as in the classic video games. I'm not really sure though.
Yeah, maybe they could keep his classic look in this series. Yeah, I like to see classic Sonic make a comeback one more time. Then maybe this series would be the one to do it. So, um, yeah, when I want to see a remake, maybe they could rewrite some things from the original series, or change a few things about the backstories of the characters. But yeah, I would like to see that happen if they made a remake. But I would like for them to retain maybe Sonic's classic look for the moment.
Here are my last two questions. If
Mm.
there is a Sonic SatAM movie, do you think it will be good?
Do I think it would be good?
Because I'm not sure about that because Hollywood has a history of screwing up like a lot, especially with kid shows.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like, I think if the original writers came back, like Benjamin Hurst, if he came back and did the show, I think the movie would have a chance to be do really well. But like you said, Hollywood has a long history of messing up a lot of children's shows. So I don't know if I trust Hollywood with this project. They're probably gonna bring in all these writers who don't know a thing about Sonic SatAM, and they've changed the source material so much that it seems like we're not watching Sonic SatAM anymore. We're just watching like an actionized version of the series. Like, I don't know, it could be like Transformers or something like that. But hopefully not. Hopefully it would be like just story driven. But that's only if they could
If you
get
want,
the original writers back.
and now for a final question, is there anything about the series would you change?
Um, I, like it's kind of hard. Like I guess if there was something about the series I wanted to change, maybe they could have add more to Sonic's backstory. Like, I would have liked to see his parents in the beginning. I would have liked the show to maybe start off with the cast with the characters living in Mobius before it was taken over by Robotnik, and just see that transaction from them living happily of Mobius and to them becoming freedom fighters in the end of the first season. That would have been pretty interesting. Maybe introduce the Chaos Emeralds in the second season or something like that. Just to have more of a story arc going around with Dr. Robotnik wanting to take the Chaos Emeralds and wanting to rule the world with it. That's what I would have liked to done if I redone the show or something, like have them start off as kids, or yeah, something like that. Have them start off living happily in Mobius for a few episodes, and then Robotnik takes over, and then it jumps forward to a few years in the second season, and they're free to fighters. So I would have liked to see the show do that if I had a chance to remake it.
That would be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Now, if I think it will change. Now, what I would change about it, I wouldn't change anything about it at all because I think it's perfect as it is. If there are
Oh,
problems, I don't mind it. They're just nitpicks I have because I love this series to death. I love Sonic SatAM. Okay, it's really called Sonic the Hedgehog, but people call it SatAM because it came on Saturday mornings.
yeah. Well, everyone, that has been the Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic SatAM animated podcast, and I'd like to thank the cartoon guy for joining me today for talking about this fantastic show, and really good discussion. I enjoy having you here, cartoon guy. Thank you so much for coming and doing this podcast with me.
I love I love being here, Animation Bliss, and I would love to do this again.
Me too. There's a lot of other great animated shows I like to talk about with you, so I definitely would like to talk with you again. Well, this is Rabbit's blog of Animation Bliss, and this is the Cartoon Guy signing off.
See you later.
Bye.